So far, we have learned how to write the event handling by ourselves. Now, we are going to look how to add the event handling using Netbeans GUI Builder tool. Here we will add the event handling for the GUI that we have built previously. So, if you haven't done it, check back the GUI part 1. The GUI is shown again below. So specifically, we will add the functionality for the two buttons, Compute and Reset. Steps for adding event handler for the GUI. The reference variable for GUI objects, such as buttons and text fields, should be renamed so that we can easily identify them in the codes generated by Netbeans GUI Builder. So you can right-click the Compute button and select Change Variable Name. In the Rename dialog box, type Compute button. The variable name for the Compute button has been changed from JButton1 to Compute button. Repeat the previous steps to rename the variable for Reset button from JButton2 to Reset button. You can choose not to rename the buttons, but it might be harder to identify them in the codes. This is because they only have general name such as JButton1 and JButton2. Next, we are going to rename all the variables for the 4 text fields. Right-click the text field beside label length and select Change Variable Name. In the Rename dialog box, type length TF. The variable name for the length text field has been changed from JTextField1 to length TF. Repeat the previous steps to rename the remaining 3 text fields. The variable for width text field from JTextField2 to width text field, the variable for area text field from JTextField3 to area text field, the variable for parameter text field from JTextField4 to parameter text field. Adding the event handlers, making the Compute button work. First, we will make the Compute button works by assigning the handler to the button. Specifically, we will use Action Listener responding to Action Event. Right-click on the Compute button. From the pop-up menu, choose Events, Action, then Action Perform. Netbeans will automatically add an Action Listener to the Compute button and generate a handler method for handling the listener's action perform method. You will be brought into the source code window where you implement your action you want the Compute button to do when the button is pressed. Your source code window should contain the following lines, which is the action perform method that you need to override. Next, we add the codes to implement what we want the Compute button to do, replacing the To Do at your handling code here line. The action performed by the Compute button can be divided into 3 steps. The first one, it is going to accept user inputs, length and width from the text fields length TF and width TF and convert the inputs from type string to double. Second, it will then perform calculation of rectangle area and parameter based on the input length and width. Thirdly, it will convert the area and parameter to type string and place them in the area TF and parameter TF respectively. The finished source code will look something like this. To read the text inputs from the text field, you would use lengthtf.getText, and whatever that the user input in the lengthtf, you will save it inside string length text. The same thing for width TF. Whatever that the user input, you will get the text by using the getText method, and then you save it inside your string width text. All the inputs that the user has keyed in inside the text field are of type string. To be able to use those input as numbers, we need to convert the text to type double. So we can do it by writing double.parseDouble length text. So that will change the length text, which is of type string, into a double, and we save it inside the variable called double length. We would do the same thing for with text, where we convert the string into a double and save it in the variable called double with. Now that we have changed from string to double, then we can perform the calculation. So we can calculate the area by writing double area equal to length times width and double parameter equal to 2 times length plus width. To display the result back into the text field, we need to convert it from double to string. To do that, we would use string.valueOf. And then, to set it into the text field, we would use setText. So, we would write it as area_tf.setText string.valueOfArea and also parameter tf.setText string.valueOfParameter. Making the reset button work. Next, we will make the reset button works by assigning the handler to the button. Again, we will use action listener responding to action event. Right-click on the reset button. From the pop-up menu, choose Event, Action, and Action Perform. Your source code window should contain the following lines, which is the action perform method for the reset button that you need to override. Next, we add the codes to implement what we want the reset button to do by replacing the to do at your handling code here line. The action performed by the reset button is to simply erase all text in the text fields. To do this, you will set the text to all of the 4 text fields to empty string. Your finished source code should look like this. So you have lengthtf.setText empty string, widtf.setText empty string, area_tf.setText empty string, and parameter tf.setText empty string. If you want your text field to display some kind of default value, you can write it there. For example, you can have lengthtf.setText, please enter a number. You can always add another event inside. For example, your lengthtf.setText, please enter a number. When the user clicks on the text field, the value please enter a number will disappear. You can do it by having your key event. There are many things that you can try, so it depends on what you want your program to do. Running the program. The final step is to run the program. Right-click in the source code window and select Run File. Test the Compute button by entering values in the length and width text fields and click the Compute button. A sample of the output is as follows. So when the user input 50.0 and width 20.0, it will calculate the area and parameter and display it on the text field. Test the reset button by clicking it and all the text fields will be cleared. A sample of the output is as follows. When you have all the values inside and you click on reset, then everything will disappear. This is because you have set your setText to contain empty string. Now that your program is working, try and add another button object to the GUI, which is an exit button. Add the event handler for the exit button so that when it is clicked, the application will close and terminate. You can use the system.exit0 command to terminate a program. We have finished covering GUI Part 1 and Part 2. We have looked at how to create the graphical user interface, and now we have learned how to add event to it. So, you should be able to start and do your project. I have posted some questions on GUI Part 2 on your online learning. Please answer those. That's all. Thank you.